Takakeisho will not be seen on the April tour at all, it's been announced this week. He will continue his recovery from neck and pectoral problems at his Tokiwayama stable, then jump straight back into tournament fights in his latest bid to maintain his rank. Fellow Ozeki Kirishima and Hoshoryu are comfortably back on the tour, but only the latter is doing regular practice bouts. Yokozuna Terunofuji has donned the white rope on every day of the tour thus far, but has not, as far as I have seen, even done proper chest lending yet. He seems pretty cool about things though. A surprise announcement today sees another young coach leave the fold. Coach Foodiwak, the one-time giant of the ring known as Terunofuji, has taken early retirement at the age of just 39. I know Sumo says stocks are no longer lent, but he was clearly borrowing his. It seems from Myogiryu. We therefore have no choice but to ask, after 6 fairly big losing scores from 8, and demotion to the second tier for the first time since 2018, is the Sakaigawa stable veteran set to retire this summer? Coming into the sumo world, it seems, is Kosei Motomura, the first boy to undertake sumo's new set of tests for undersized fighters. Sarugatake stable will sign him up should he get through Friday's physical. Wow, how time does fly. Coach Myogiryu has barely been seen since his move to Isegahama. He might have been told by his new boss to minimize media comments. He was sadly, it seems, crossed off the list for the veterans bouts held as part of yesterday's fundraiser at the Kokugikan Hall. We assume had the scandal not occurred, he'd have finally fought Coach Nishonoseki 2 years later than planned. They were scheduled to get it on at the cancelled Fuji TV event of 2022. Chairman Hakuho has tried to explain to Hochi Sports, the news company renting from him, the logic behind ex-Hakuho's fate. Had he flagged up the violence to us back in 2022, he could have saved Hokuseiho from being fired, Hakuho bizarrely began, suggesting Hokuseiho's initial vile acts might not have warranted dismissal. We might have simply suspended Hokuseiho for 1 or 2 tournaments, he continued, implying concrete rules for these situations have still not been set even 6 years into the anti-violence initiative. Coach Myogiryu, looking the other way, lost him his right to manage a stable, Hakuho further said, not mentioning that these guys all kept theirs, one of whom being ex-Hakuho's boss. I don't see Myogiryu stable being closed for long, he concluded. And I hope Coach Myogiryu can look back in future years and say, because I went through this retraining period, my stable's in much better shape. Well, he seemed to be doing alright before with 4 salaried wrestlers this time last year. Well. Finally, as you've surely heard, the first foreign-born Yokozuna, Akebono Taro, passed away around a week ago. His funeral has since been held. He was one of Japan's most famous men at the peak of his sumo powers, and media coverage well reflects that. Here's what his sumo comrades had to say about his remarkable life. Fellow Hawaiian Konishiki. He's finally been released from that years-long grueling health battle. I can't condense into just the one comment all the memories I have of all the times we shared. I'll just say he's gone down in history. Here's ex-stablemaster Jesse Kuhaulua. He was huge, smart, and earnest. I know he won 11 cups, but the first is the one that sticks with me. I just never thought he was going to do it. Well done on a fabulous shift, Akebono, but gone too soon, I say. I mean, here I still am, pushing 80. Current Ozeki Kotonowaka. You might have seen the photo of his holding the baby me. I remember being in awe of his size. It was really rare to see someone even bigger than my own father. I too have to aim for his highest rank. I hope I can tell him I made it someday. Ex-mortal dohyo enemy Wakanohana. As we'd been competing like crazy since our mid-teens, I hoped that same spirit would somehow pull him through this dreadful affliction. You could tell he was really suffering, and I hope he's been released from that pain. Although he lost much of his memory, he remembered me a few years back when I went to his hospital bed. I hoped we'd meet again in Hawaii and enjoy a drink on the beach. Sadly, that wasn't to be. Former rival, Coach Asakayama. On the practice dohyo at the sumo school, he was rather scary to face. I'd never seen a man his size. He gave me tough sumo workouts, but he was also really nice. And ex-stablemate, Coach Azumazeki. Big-bodied and big-hearted is how I'd describe the guy. In my early days at the stable, when I barely knew how things worked, he'd always chat to me and help relax my nerves. I owe all I've achieved in pro sumo to him, and I still can't believe he's gone. Now, those are just a fraction of the tributes taken from men who attended his wake. Akebono's huge sumo impact can be summed up thus. Without him, there'd have been no him, therefore no him, and therefore no him.